Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookham here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you my second video interview with Elaine Lalanne, the Queen of Fitness, where we talk about the legacy that she and Jack established over 70 years as pioneers of fitness. In this interview, you will see some extremely rare images of Jack in his very early days and stories of the inventions that both he and Lala created and masterminded as they paved the way for the future of fitness. Enjoy.
Okay.
So, round two.
Okay.
Great. Thanks for getting back, Lala.
All right, no problem. I'm here. I'm at your service today.
It'll probably be another half an hour or so, and then that'll be my first round of questions.
Okay, I'll be shorter with my answers.
Oh, it's okay. It's going to be now on Jack. I mean, Jack, as we know, is probably the most influential fitness icon of the 20th century. And again, congratulations on your new book, Pride and Prejudice. Great read. Fantastic read. Highly recommend
Pride
it.
and Discipline. He was great on discipline.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he disciplined himself. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, reading that, I mean, I've read, as you know, as I showed you earlier, some of the mags that I've got of featuring Jack and his stories, which I really want to talk about a lot of, actually. And I got an essence of what Jack was. But yeah, now I've got even more questions after having read your book again, which I highly recommend people to read, especially if they're interested in learning about yourself and of Jack, pioneers of the fitness industry. Because it's so well detailed, so well researched, so it's fantastic. And that's one of the first things that I didn't know about Jack. I mean, you showed me earlier that great image of him as a teenager or 20-year-old from Arena of Strength, I think it's called.
Yeah. Let's see. This one.
Yes.
This is 1934.
Correct.
Magazine, and I have to be careful here, but you'll see in here, this is him. They've got a picture of him. He's just, he's just starting.
Doing double bicep.
Yeah, and then there he is as a teenager, and there he is with a paddle there.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, and that's 1934. This is the Arena and Strength.
Yes.
Okay, now, did you want the 36 one?
Oh, I think we can even do it together.
Okay. Oh, you've got it.
I've got that.
I don't have to show it to you. You've got a better copy.
Oh yeah.
See, there he is with his hair. His
very
hair is plastered down, and that's the way they were in the 30s,
Yeah. So that's Jack there.
Yeah.
After, I believe, winning the what was it, I've got it right.
AAU, is that the wrestling, about wrestling?
No, I think he had just, hang on. Oh yeah, he won the Best Built Man of the Year award, and this is in 1936. From AAU. You're right.
I forget what they said in the book, but anyway. But I have that one. I don't think you have this one.
Oh yeah, it's back there.
Oh, you do. Oh. So there's another article about him. Yes. I think it's 1936 or 7 or whatever. Yeah.
So in actual fact, it does state that Jack could have won. That's the actual excerpt in there, that with a body like that, he could have won. It actually says, if you surely here is a man who would upset the dope in any contest for the world's best built man. Here is Jack Lalanne, 19 years old, of Berkeley, California.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I didn't really know much about. As I already mentioned, I've got many mags that feature Jack as a bodybuilder. Can you explain what drove him to become the bodybuilder?
He was a bodybuilder, but when he started his TV show, he was not put in that category of a bodybuilder. You know, Jack is now, and from that moment, he was known more for his television shows and his and the bodybuilding people kind of left him. You know, I think he had a body. I really think he trained for not only a body, you know, proportion body, but he trained for endurance. See, a lot of people train for strength.
Yeah.
And so he combined the two together. That's why he was able to swim so long. He'd go out swimming for an hour, you know, we'd lose him out in the ocean. And I used to worry, but I mean, you know, he'd always come back, you know, he's like a fish.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, like, and that's one of my questions, I guess. Like, I know that he talks about him being sick, and then hearing that lecture from one of the doctors, I forget the name now, that
When he was always sick as a child. He had a mastoid, almost died. He almost died 2 times. That's in the book. You'll find in my latest book, Pride and Discipline. So, and you'll find a lot of stuff on our website too, which is jacklalanne.com, you know. So anyway, he really almost died a number of times. He lived on a ranch in near Bakersfield, California, for 10 years, from 4 to 14. And then when he went, then he had to drop out of school for 6 months due to ill health. And that's when he heard Paul Bragg talk.
Yeah.
And there was one thing that Paul Bragg said: I don't care what your age is, I don't care what your physical condition is, you can be reborn again.
That's
and
it.
then he saw him later and he says, Jack, you're a human garbage can.
That's fantastic. And yeah, I mean, that is, I remember watching just recently, because I was preparing for the interview with yourself. Thank you for uploading, by the way, all those wonderful Jack LaLanne episode clips on YouTube. And on one of the first ones, I think it's in episode 1, he actually states exactly the same thing, that you can be reborn again. And I think that that is one of the most valuable lessons that anybody can ever talk about regarding fitness or bodybuilding, because I think nowadays, especially with bodybuilding, it has become something completely different to what it originally was for, which is health and fitness and rebuilding yourself. So please.
Jack always said, and you'll find it in a lot of you know, some of the bodybuilding magazines when he's been interviewed, if you take steroids to build up your body, it's like going to bed with a rattlesnake. It's gotta get you. And that's, I mean, Jack was very, as I said, concise in what he said. I mean, what he said was potent stuff, but they weren't long stuff, not like me. I go on and on.
No, that's fine. He's absolutely right. So it was sickness that drove him to enter bodybuilding and fitness, and as you mentioned, not just bodybuilding, but endurance.
The stories in the book too about how he went to the YMCA after meeting Paul Bragg. And he joined, and he became a very good wrestler. And when he was 1934, he's got a wrestling medal. 1936, he's got a wrestling medal. And he could have gone to the Olympics in 1936, but he opened his gym, and he's taking money. If you took 1 penny in those days, and I remember it because I was alive, because they'd say, if you take 1 penny, you can't go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And he was off the Olympic team. But
because you showed me that magazine from 1936, which has the story of Jack as a wrestler. So he made it to the Olympic team, but he was disqualified because he opened up the gym.
Yes, because he took money to charge people. There's some nut and crackpot in Oakland, California, charging money to people to exercise. This was a nuts charlatan.
Yeah, that was the AAU back then. You had to be an amateur. You had to be an amateur. You couldn't take any money. The moment you did,
That's right.
you're a
That's
professional.
absolutely
And that's,
right.
yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, that's not the way to. And when they started changing things, I just shook my head. I said, "Oh, that sure is different."
Yeah. So, did Jack? I mean, I've read a bit about his bodybuilding competition history. Did he win any major trophies? Because I did read that he came second in.
Had Mr. America contest. He had the best chest, and he did win some trophies with. I've got a bunch of trophies out in our gym, but I can't exactly remember every one of them. You know,
Okay.
but he didn't win the Mr. America. He didn't go into that. He did the one thing and he won the best chest.
Right.
That's all I know about
Yeah,
that.
I've read that he came second in the Pro Mr. America in 1954, but you're right, he never won the Mr. America competition, but he was a competitive bodybuilder, that's for sure.
Yeah, when he started his show, the bodybuilding, he still was built every day. He exercised 2 hours and he was in that gym, but publicity wise in the magazine, in the bodybuilding magazines, it went by the wayside. And then not until he was older, he got more accolades and stuff.
Yeah. In this new book, this great new book, Pride and Prejudice, which I'll hold up.
No, Pride and Discipline.
Sorry, what am I talking about? Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. You know what? In my high school play, I was in that play, Pride and Prejudice.
The problem is
I do the same thing.
my wife and daughter watch it all the time, and it's on my mind now. I'm so sorry. Pride and Discipline. The TV show is actually mentioned, as well as the many innovations that Jack thought up to introduce and allow fitness and nutrition to go mainstream. One of the first questions there I've got is, what came first? Because as I mentioned earlier, you guys are such pioneers. Was it the supplements? Was it the little booklets like the ones I've got here?
This is how it goes.
Or was it the gym equipment?
The gym equipment. Gym equipment. Okay, that came in the 50s. That Easy Way and the Glamour Stretcher and the stretchers and the protein drinks of instant breakfast. That's all his. All that stuff that came in the 1950s, because that's when we started television.
Right.
But in 1936, in high school, he had a football injury. He was captain of the football team, and he had a football injury. The doctor said he'd never walk again, and that's in the book too, and how he overcame that. And so he, with the injury, he had to devise exercises to rehabilitate it. There was a hill in Berkeley, California. It was straight up that 1 mile. His goal was to get to the top of that whole hill.
Oh yeah, I read that in the book.
The doctor said he'd probably never walk properly again.
Yeah.
So when he went into the service, he was 4F, and so that means he couldn't do a full squat. So the next time he tried, he walked on his hands. He's walking all over the place on his hands and doing all sorts of stuff. And the doctor that operated on his leg passed him through, and that's how he got in the Navy.
Right.
So didn't have to do a full squat the second or third time he tried. So, but he had to rehabilitate himself. So that's when he invented the leg extension machine. The leg extension machine. That was in the 1930s.
Right.
And then he invented the calf machine. He invented the squat machine. It's now the Smith machine.
Yes.
And so that's how that was born. All that equipment. I have pictures to show you. I've got some of this and the weight selector. In those days, the weights were just barbells and dumbbells, and they had holes in the middle of them.
Yeah.
This is a picture of the original. This is the original weight selector right here. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So there you, and that is, you squeeze this little thing up above here, and then it would pull up the 10 pounds or 5 pounds or whatever, and then the that was the, but that's one thing he invented. Now you'll see it here, and you'll see that bar there.
Yes.
He would pull down over his weight, so he put his knees underneath that. So when he would pull down those, well, I have lots of pictures to show you, but anyway, but those are all those things were born, and he went to a blacksmith with his ideas, and I had a pattern maker, and at the studio, he would tell him, I want to do this, and he would make the pattern. Jack would take it over to Paul Martin, and Paul Martin who would make and later on Paul Martin made equipment for a lot of people that went into the bodybuilding, gyms, and Vic Tanny came to see his gym. And then he went over to see Paul Martin, and he bought the equipment from Paul Martin. Jack never made any money because never did bother to patent or anything. But that's the story.
That's fantastic. So it's really just a need that really drove.
No, and the pulleys machine. That's where. See, in those days, that's when they had pulleys in the 30s, but he got the idea of pulling, selecting the weight, hooking it on, and then pulling up the amount of weight you want. And when I do a pull down like this with the weights, see, you're getting more muscles but I have another gym that you just pull it down and you're just going the same way.
Yeah.
But the one with the pulleys, I'm going like this.
Yeah, you got to stabilize it.
Because I'm getting more muscle than I will with just being in one position.
Absolutely. I think it's also better. It's much better. Thank you for answering that. So Jack, you're basically going directly to my next question, which is fantastic. So Jack opened his gym in 36 at around 21 years old, called the Jack Lalanne Physical Culture Studio. Is that correct?
Yes. Physical culture was the word that everybody used in those days. And some of the people are trying to get it back again,
Yes, I'm one of them.
Hallelujah, I am too.
What was it then that drove him to open his first gymnasium? What was it that motivated him? Was it his...
He had this. He had people, the young people, working out in his backyard. He'd already devised a bunch of stuff after.
Right.
He got Grey's Anatomy. That's what changed his life. He bought Grey's Anatomy, learned all the workings of the body, and later on became a chiropractor. So, but he never could work. He never worked as a chiropractor professionally because he already had opened the gym, and then he had doctors working out, and they weren't, on the same page in those days.
Absolutely, very true.
But anyway, that's how he started.
Okay. Was like at such a young age then, at 21, did he already have this desire to spread the word?
He had the desire because he told his dad he had this desire to open up the place so people could work out, and he had these ideas. He had all these ideas, so he would go down and do in Los Angeles. He was in a couple of movies and just as not any, just as a I don't know what you call him, but anyway, he and then he made money to pay for this gym,
Mhm.
And then he borrowed a little money from his father. And so that's how he opened it in 1936. And he says, I've got this gym, and I had to massage people, and I was massaging Trader Vic. But before that, I would look out the window and watch all the people go by. Nobody's coming to my gym. And then Trader Vic, it was a famous restaurateur, and he came to Jack's gym, and he says, I was massaging Trader Vic, and I was looking, I looked out the window and I said, they're not coming to me. I got to go to them. So then that's when he went to the high schools, and he says, how would you like to build up, the skinny guy? How would you like to lose weight, to the heavy guy? So that's how he started. He got the young people, and to the day he died, and to the day some of those students died, he kept in touch with them. He always and he'd tell Vic Tanny, Vic, you gotta give him service, gotta give him first service. He'd tell everybody, even when he had his own spas, he'd tell them, you gotta give him service. That was his, mantra.
Fantastic. I mean, but that's why he got along with so many people. It was that personal touch that he had, I think.
Yeah, he had a personal touch, and he cared, and he never, my gosh, when people would wait around the block if we were, someplace and he was signing autographs, people would wait around the block just to get his autograph.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'd say, I said, Jack, we got a big long line out there, can you just sign, to so-and-so? Then he'd say, to my friend. And then he'd say, now, what do you do? I said, Jack, there's a big long line. You want to know what everybody did,
That's great. I mean, yeah, that's why he was so loved. Now, you met him after he finished his service in the Second World War. Is that correct?
No, it was just after the after World War II. Yeah,
exactly. So this is the time that he started appearing now on TV regarding the promotion of fitness. Is that correct?
1951, he started in San Francisco, right?
How was it that he began appearing on TV? Like, did he seek self-promotion?
No, he sent over Betty Jo Brown. He says, I don't know anything about television. See, he had a friend at KGO TV, which Vince Francis, who was the sales manager. And this guy had an idea, his sponsor, called Kiva Wets. They were a little wafer that supposed to help you lose weight and whatnot. So that's how it all started. And he said, Jack, I want you to come over. So he sent his girl over. Betty Jo Brown had lost 100 pounds. He thought, oh, they'll like her. So Vince Francis said, who knew Jack from high school or whatever? He said, Jack, I don't want her, I want you. So he came over and he started he said, what would you do with an exercise show? He says, well, I'd have him do this, I'd have him do that, and then I'd have a little this, and I would do this, and I would do that. That's how it all started.
Right. Okay.
Period.
And so let's see, my next question.
He was a very simple person. I mean, he wanted to keep everything simple. I probably interrupted your train of thought.
No, it's actually perfect that you just said that. Because as you mentioned, you both met around this time, and he was quite simple in his method of projecting fitness.
Yes.
What was it that attracted you to Jack? That's really now my next lines of questions.
Oh, what attracted me? I've said, I think his mind, and his ideas and his enthusiasm for life, and when we our first date, that's when I turned him down for a long time, and I said, I'm through with men, I'll never love again, blah blah blah. And so when we went out, I said, oh my gosh, we were with his friends. One was a chiropractor and one was the mortuary. And so we were talking and oh gosh, I don't know. He's really, my mind, he's got the same ideas as me, you know, and that attracted me to him. His mind attracted me. And then we had danced before that at a company party, and he was really a good dancer. And I thought, oh, you know, we were all. And so, but I mean, that was way before that. And so, and then we went to this restaurant and we had to wait with this couple. And so Jack, we walked into this bar that right next to the restaurant, and the piano player, because Jack, he was a great singer. And so he used to sing a lot, you know, in different places. And you know, they'd have the piano bar and people would sing and all. So the piano recognized him and he says, Jack, come on over and sing a song. So we walk over to the piano bar and he says, he sings, okay, play Because You're Mine. So he plays Because You're Mine, la da 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 da. Oh, and I said, Dottie sings too. You know?
Oh boy.
Oh, I don't know, but anyway, that was fun. Anyway, we've had such fun. We've laughed through life. He never said anything bad about anybody. If we say anything negative, he said, that's negative. That's negative. He does not like anything negative. And so everything was, even if we had a, you know, we're making a little thing in our kitchen and we're having a conversation about it. And so, I mean, always made you laugh, you know. I mean, if there's any controversy or anything, he'd always make a joke. In the book, I have a chapter on humor.
Yes, I've read it.
All its sayings, you know. I said, Jack, if you honk that horn one more time, I'm divorcing you. And he said, promise? I mean, he was funny. I mean, he really was funny. I mean, he just always made you laugh, you know.
It's a good thing.
Some people will say that, you know. In the book, I don't know if you've ever seen Dateline or, you know, from,
yes.
Well, Keith Morrison in the book says, first time he met him, he says, he's got some one-liners that Jack used when we came up there. Something about I'll do nothing. My wife does nothing for me, and I forget how that went, but it's funny. So you'll get a lot of funny little stuff in the humor department in the section.
From the time you were both married, did you both then work as a team to promote fitness, or did that happen?
Yes, yes. In the beginning, I have never been one who, I've always been one who wants to help. You know, ever since a little girl, oh, don't worry, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you. So I'm not one who, I don't have an ego. I don't have, you know, I'm not somebody who wants to be somebody. I'm not just me. And Jack was just him. I mean, we were just ourselves. I called ourselves two old shoes because, and I never liked to ask anybody for anything. You know, we knew a lot of people, and I'm not one who likes to ask for stuff. And we were pretty independent and did a lot of this stuff by ourselves, you know. And so we weren't out there tooting our horns, and maybe we tooted a little more on our horns. We would have been more, you know, in the know, or but we lived life simply, you know. It's really fun, simple, had fun. I have a lot of funny stories.
Final questions now on supplements, because I think I would like to interview again in the future, hopefully very soon, regarding the TV show. I actually want to go through the clips and specifically ask questions regarding that. But regarding supplements, I know that Jack and yourself created supplements.
Yeah. People were not doing supplements in those days. They were not doing supplements. So he always believed in supplements. He always believed in vitamins. So I wish I could take you over here to just show you all the vitamins we sold to pay for our time on television. We did it all ourselves.
Right.
And he came up with he came up with, well, the funny one was desiccated liver. He believed in desiccated liver. Well, one of our friends said, Jack, desiccated liver, that's not a good name for a product. We were selling tons of desiccated liver on the show, and he believed in it so strongly. So we changed it to whole liver, but because this fellow said, you know what, Jack, you know what desiccated liver is? Dead liver.
Yeah.
So we changed it to whole liver. But I mean, that's just one of the products. We had a lot of products. Vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin D. We had all of those. And then he had the idea of we were fooling around with breakfast with a blender in our little health food store that we had below the office that I was in. And so we were putting in the stuff, my milk solid, dried milk solids, and we were putting in wheat germ and all this stuff. And then we mixed it up, and Jack says, you know what? This is instant breakfast. So let's go over to my friend, and he's a biochemist, and he was one of our students. And so he made this instant breakfast for us. And we had this instant breakfast that we sold tons of up in San Francisco. And then we went to LA, and then we had Carnation was doing our instantizing for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, after a couple of days, things were going well, and the Pure Food and Drug came and said, you cannot see, Jack would never come out with anything. He always had to have a little pamphlet with it telling about eating properly and exercise. You had to have the exercise with the nutrition. Mm-hmm. Exercise is king, nutrition's queen. Put them together, and you got a kingdom. Correct. So that's what happened in those days, that we came out with this instant breakfast. So now that we have to take it off the market, because the Pure Food and Drug said, you've mentioned the product in your pamphlet. That makes it part of the label. You can't do that or whatever. In those days, I haven't got a clue. But so we took it off the market, and Jack says, okay, we'll just come out with Reduce. And that's what we did. So a few years later, Carnation came out with instant breakfast, and so did Foremost up in San Francisco, big company. And so now they're suing each other because who owns instant breakfast? We own instant breakfast. So the guy that's on the board of Foremost came to us and said, I'll give you $25,000 if you sell me the rights to instant breakfast. So they went in it in court, and we got the $25,000. So, I mean, that's the story of instant breakfast, which a lot of people don't know. And Carnation, I mean, if you look in the internet, in 1964 or something, that's when they started. But we started in middle 1950s. Exactly. But that's not in. I one time I wrote in something in there, and the real story of it, how you do going, and I wrote this whole thing, and they didn't accept it. So, but that's it. I mean, we've been ousted, but we're just a little people, and we don't get any. See, all I wanted to do when we wrote this book is that Jack gets his due, and it's in the book. That gets he gets the due for what he's done for the industry, not only for the fitness industry, but for the you know, the supplements and bringing this all forward to the public.
Yes, I agree. The book does that beautifully. It delivers
And
that
that's
message.
all I care about. I'm 96 years old and a half. So in 3.5 years, I'm going to be 100. I may not live that long. But before I go, and I'm not worried about going, you know, so um, I I just want the younger generation to know uh, that what Jack did for them. You know, a lot of people, even in the fitness industry, they have no idea what Jack did.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and that's my goal. That's all I care about, and that's all Greg cares about.
Mm.
You know, we want to sell our book, and we put every money back into the promotion of Jack, so that they can go, so we can get that message out to the younger generation, wake him up to the fact, well, this is where did this come from? How do you, why are you doing this? Why are you eating this?
Absolutely. I think you've done that very well in the book. And yeah, I think well, the Zoom is about to finish in 2 minutes. So I'm done with my first round of questions, Lala. And I really want to thank you for your time today. It's been a great opportunity to chat to you. And again, you've shared many stories, things that I remember from the book, and I think in some regard, even smaller details that I didn't actually quite grasp. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. And if you want to look into the jackelaine.com, there's a lot of, you know, he's got a lot of his exercises and all sorts of stuff in there too, to look around in the shop Elaine and in our jackelaine.com.
Yes. I actually made a substantial order for that reason, to actually the next time we talk, I hope
Oh
to
yes,
showcase.
you can call me. I got it, and I've gone on to we'll work on
Yeah,
that.
what the point is, I want to be able to also ask you more questions about the stories behind these pamphlets, these books.
Yeah, you can anytime, Carlos. You know, it's been a long. Carlos, you contacted me several months ago, you know,
I know.
and I want to apologize for putting
Oh
you
no,
off
no,
so long,
no
but
need, no
I
need.
wanted to do something, you know, let you into my life a little bit more than just something short.
Thank you. We'll talk again soon, and wishing you a fantastic day. And thank you again, Lala. I very much
It
appreciate it.
was a pleasure to meet your children and to
Thank,
you, and good luck to you.
thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was Elaine Lalanne, and besides seeing those amazing photos, there's really awesome early photos of Jack, where he was already, you could see already his transformation from being this sickly child to starting to become the athletic wonder that he was. We also learned from Elaine that Jack trained for both strength and endurance throughout his life, which gave him the superhuman abilities that he would later have. It's amazing that although Jack almost died twice, he learned that you can be reborn again, and he learned that from Professor Paul Bragg. And therefore it was the desperation found through sickness that drove him to rebuild himself through bodybuilding, and even almost became later an Olympic athlete as a wrestler, and later became, of course, a competitive bodybuilder, winning several awards. Regarding Jack's achievements as a fitness pioneer, one of the first things he did in the mid-30s was to create revolutionary equipment for training his legs after suffering from a football injury where he was told he would never walk again. And to rehabilitate himself, he created equipment including the leg extension, leg curl, calf machine, and later the Smith machine, as well as weight selectors and pulley machines, all which have become essential gym equipment in fitness centers worldwide. Jack would also open his famous Jack LaLanne physical culture studio to encourage people to train, and after performing on TV, Jack would promote the home exercise booklets and supplements he was well known for. Jack was also known for not just being a motivator, but a very funny guy. And I really enjoyed about how she met Jack and how they lived their life together as the pioneering fitness couple, and how they promoted their famous motto, exercise is king, nutrition is queen, put them together and you have a kingdom. Very wise words indeed. So that was Lalanne on the legacy of Jack LaLanne, and I do hope you have enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give the video a like, subscribe, and leave me your comments. I do hope to interview Lala again in the future, so stay tuned for more videos with the First Lady of Fitness, Lalanne, and to check out the book Pride and Discipline, head to Amazon.com where you'll find it. That's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. Now, if you're interested in learning more about how Steve Reeves developed his ribcage, I've got a wonderful new e-booklet up on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com, which explains a very rare and unpublished Reeves ribcage and full body routine. Of course, my website has many other booklets on Steve Reeves' methods, specifically how I developed my waist, how I developed my broad shoulders, and another ebook on how he developed his wonderful diamond-shaped calves. All available on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. Online training is now available, including my new program, Novice to Classic, a program geared towards beginners and novices looking at developing a classic physique, as well as Classic Cut, geared at those who wish to lose weight and gain muscle fast. Details available at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Need a bodybuilding poster for your gym or office? Then check out Iron Man Magazine archive.smugmug.com for the highest quality posters on the planet. Scroll through the galleries of all the legends, including greats such as Arnold, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Tom Platz, and Larry Scott, and much, much more, and select your poster now. As a natural bodybuilder, it is imperative to know your own testosterone levels, as they are a reflection of the anabolic environment created by your diet and training. I would highly recommend using the male hormone test kit from Let's Get Checked, and make sure you use my code GOLDEN30 for a 30% discount. Again, the advantage of checking yourself regularly is that you will know how well your body is anabolically primed to put on the much desired muscle you are working for. Get your gym wear and Golden Era apparel at the new Golden Era Tees shop, featuring designs from the Silver Era and Golden Era legends, available as tanks, shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies in all sizes and colors. To support your favorite YouTube channel, please visit teespring.com/stores/Golden Era Bookworm for merchandise, including t-shirts, hoodies, face masks, phone cases, and much, much more. Once again at teespring.com/stores/Golden Era Bookworm. Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the Golden Era of bodybuilding. If you're a fan of old school bodybuilding, then make sure to check out Sups the Movie. Filmmaker Alex Ardenti explores the $40 billion sports supplement industry, delving into the origins, evolution, and current state of supplements used by millions of fitness enthusiasts worldwide, available at Amazon and Vimeo.